and fitness classes. You can get all the information that you need on their website, okamikai.com. That's okamikai.com. Look no further. They're here. They're on the line. It is Scott Campsall and Jennifer Neveu. How are you guys?
Good well. Good morning.
You're go well?
We're go well, yeah. Good morning. We're going to work on our timing when we're on the phone.
No, do you ever notice that you do this sometimes? You're thinking another word to, like, it's like, hey, I'm doing great or whatever, and you combine the words, and the person's like, okay.
I do that with goodbye. It usually turns into bagai.
Bagai. Exactly.
Bagai.
Yeah. Or you're at the airport and, you're tipping somebody or whatever. Well, you have a good flight too. They say have a good flight. Yeah, you have a good flight too. I'm not flying anywhere. Oh, yeah.
So let's try that again. Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, there we go. That's where we'll pick up the edit right there. Scott will appreciate that.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Have you ever messed up when you're talking? I'm in radio broadcasting college courses now. I'm messing up all the time.
Yeah, that's why we edit. Listen, I know some people may roll their eyes. Oh, I'm going to talk about discipline and everything, but I just thought it's so important. One of those subjects that we don't talk about enough in getting involved in what could be sports. It could be music. And the effects that has on the rest of our lives. And it's so important these days with the pandemic in, a lot of people doing a lot of things and keeping things in order. And we're talking about the basis, the foundation is discipline. And it's not something we're born with. We learn how to do it. Some, not everybody does. And I was wondering, and I had to ask you guys, because you have to be super disciplined. I mean, Scott, you're running a business. You're also attending college right now, and a family man, a husband, and I thought, well, let me ask you. You obviously have to be disciplined. When do you think that really kicked in your life?
Last week.
Was it?
No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
Like when you think about it, was it always something that was just kind of inherently there? Like in high school where you prepare, for exams and essays and things like that? Or were you...
Sorry, she's laughing because I'm just shaking my head. Oh, no.
Yeah,
no.
exactly.
There are teachers, I can just imagine Bruce Brandon's listening to this and just, oh, yeah, right. Scott was totally disciplined.
Right. Well, and that'd be typical of any teen, right? I mean, for most teens, the fact is, I've got to get that done by tomorrow. And we haven't necessarily learned that discipline. Some have, some do, but so many don't. And I thought it's fascinating. When does that little switch kind of click over? Well,
for me, it was I think it was more introduced by survival. You got to get up and go to work. That's like when we're bringing in little kids for the first time for karate, and I'll basically ask them, do you know what discipline is? Or do you know what self-discipline is? Because there's sort of a difference, especially with kids. You've got, and we use brushing your teeth as an example. So I'll ask the child, did you brush your teeth this morning? And either they say yes or they say no. Most of the time they say yes. And I go, well, why did you brush your teeth? Well, because I don't want to get cavities. Okay, so this is important. So this morning, did you brush your teeth because your parent told you to do it, or did you just do it all on your own? And if they say the parent did it, and I say, okay, well, there's discipline. Your parents know better, and so therefore they know this is good for you, and they'll make you brush your teeth. But if you do it by yourself because you know it's good for you, then that's self-discipline. And so we try to encourage that in our martial arts program, especially with our kids. And so, like I said, I think it's sort of a survival instinct. All of a sudden you realize, hey, I got to get up and go to work in the morning because I need money to provide for my family. So there's a self-discipline aspect right there. Or, now I got to go brush my teeth because I don't want to get cavities and I don't want to pay for the dentist bills. So I think with me, I can't pinpoint the actual day or moment when it happened, but I think over time that's sort of been what's been encouraging to me to develop habits and like some kind of regimented schedule and especially that's one of the reasons why I actually started getting into the college courses was because now that I've developed some self-discipline, I sort of want to prove to myself that I actually could do school. I know it maybe sounds a little silly, but yeah, to me, to get
you've added tools to your toolbox, right?
Pardon me?
You've added tools to your toolbox.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually I can see it. Like all the students are on a WhatsApp program, and I can read what they're saying. And like one sentence, they're saying, "Wow, we've got so many assignments to do and so many things to do." And then in the next 10 minutes or so, they're talking about, "Oh, you guys up to go play video games together?" Like, so it's like there's definitely a a shift because of maturity.
Right. Well, and I'm wondering with Jennifer, because you teach piano, also singing. So, I mean, those are very disciplined things to do. And I'm wondering, do you see more discipline from, or maybe is it the person, or do they develop that discipline by the time they get to you?
Well, discipline is a funny thing, right? Because as you said, we're not born with it. So it's one of those things that we are essentially taught extrinsically. So we're taught by our parents that we need to, like Scott said, brush our teeth. And so then that becomes a habit of self-discipline that we need to brush our teeth. So something simple like, personal hygiene is an easy way to look at the beginning of self-discipline. And then when you want to take into account things like music lessons, martial arts, weight loss, any sort of activity which requires a long-term goal, then the immediacy is the difficult part with discipline. And so what I mean by that is we all want what we want. So we got the I want brain. I want to be a musician. I want to be a singer. I want to lose weight. I want to be a black belt, whatever it is. So the discipline to achieve those goals then comes from either, having the intrinsic value of the activity or an extrinsic motivator. Generally, extrinsic motivators are what push us all before it becomes intrinsic. And what I mean by that is, for example, with my students, with my music students, I have a sticker chart, and we do this with our little dragons too in karate. I have a sticker chart to encourage their completion of homework which is less attractive for them. So we all want to sing the songs, and we all want to play the music, and we all want to do the fun stuff, but the other stuff that takes discipline in terms of getting the written theory homework done or doing the sight singing, stuff that the tasks are a little bit more arduous, then I have an extrinsic program of stickers. And when they get 10 stickers for their completion of their work, then they get a prize. So that kind of extrinsic motivator then hopefully becomes at some point an intrinsic motivator where they actually want to do the work, whether it's, because they start enjoying the value of the musicality itself or of the value of the work. But generally, let's say for weight loss, those intrinsic motivators are really hard to come by because weight loss doesn't happen overnight, shockingly.
I know. Yeah, I tried. But I mean, so effectively you're talking about building a foundation where something becomes rote. And then it's a self-discipline because that basis is already there. Yes.
And then that can be applied to anything. And there are going to be certain personality types for sure that are generally a more disciplined person. But it's not that it can't be learned, and it can't be learned at any age. So I have somebody, no names named, that I'm thinking of right now who, spent their life as essentially a morbidly obese person. And it wasn't until they were in their 30s that they actually came to a weight loss and fitness program because it was kind of put upon them by a teacher, got this parent off the bench and said, let's go do this. And then that person developed enough self-discipline actually to end up with a second-degree black belt. And
wow, that is motivation.
Yeah, so where we're talking about, it has to come as a tool or as an ability from a child. No, it can happen. You can learn it as a skill as an adult.
Scott, how did things change for you in your battle with cancer? Is it something that the discipline levels were cranked up even further because you appreciated so many more things in life after your battle?
Wow, that's a good question. I don't think I don't know if my discipline would have increased as much as my appreciation for time. So so I guess there's sort of I guess that's sort of a tangent or a facet of discipline. Like, I try to waste a lot less time than what I probably would have taken for granted beforehand, for sure.
Right. Well, and I think we'll wrap things up here, but as we have this conversation, I'm hoping that maybe a parent, or you hope, a student or someone who's younger hears this and might take something out of it. But I'm hoping some parents do as well, because I know that, and you guys know, I'm sure you hear it on a regular basis, parents struggling to keep their kids motivated and disciplined during the pandemic because so many things have changed.
I'm hearing that just in the last few days, and this actually was something that made me really sad yesterday, speaking with a few different parents who are having a really tough time with their kids, some kids as young as 11, I know of, I'm sure there are younger ones too, who just don't even want to get out of bed. They don't even want to open the curtains. They don't want to brush their teeth. Never mind the other stuff like school. Because things like I'm talking about their extrinsic motivators, they don't exist anymore. So seeing their friends or getting the stickers on the sticker board at school or getting to play in band with their friends or sing in a choir or, essentially live a normal kid life, those extrinsic motivators are gone. So their intrinsic value of discipline is a moot point. And so hopefully, as parents, we can know what's good for our kids. Activity is good, and different activities, physical activity or musical activity or whatever it is. So if we can see as parents the forest beyond the trees with this stuff, then hopefully we can create the discipline environment so that even when our children don't have the self-discipline, hopefully we can, create the environment where we can get them through it with our sense of discipline.
And it sort of goes with looping back to what I'd said before. It's almost like a survival skill now. For me, I started getting into college courses because I knew I was going to have time. Like, I used to drive down to the city all the time and train and do classes down the city, and I'm not driving now. So I've got a couple of hours in my day now where I'm not in a car. So I thought, well, I got to use my time wisely. I got to do something, and so it's something to be accountable and have projects due, and I have classes that I have to attend, and I think that's really important. If we're looking at, like, a lot of us have referred to this as Groundhog Day, so it's got to be tough for a kid to say, yeah, I'm going to get up and do exactly the same thing that I did yesterday. Again, sometimes necessity is the mother of all invention.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm hoping. It's been great to have this conversation, guys, and I thank you for taking time to have it. Again, hopefully someone can glean something from this and maybe help them with their path, which it's a tough journey these days. And, we are it is getting better. The vaccines are out there, but we still got a way to go. So hopefully we can all make that journey together. If somebody is interested in signing up for one of the courses, how can they do that, Scott?
Well, they can Google us. We're Googleable. I used that term last month. I like that word now.
Googleable.
Yeah.
That's my new favorite word, Googleable.
Googleable.
And obviously, we got the website, okamikai.com.
Guys, thanks for your conversation this morning.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That is Scott Campsall and Jennifer Neveu from Okami Kai Karate.